Welcome back to Game Talk from the Bench. I'm your host, Drew Barreto. Today I'm here with my co-host, my uncle Andrew Barreto. And today we actually have some NFL news to talk about. The season, it's coming up. Moves already being made. We got releases. We got tags going on. We got some trades going on. We talk about that. We'll also talk about the combine. So I got some of my thoughts on the combine. And then in the NBA, our weekly NBA standings, everyone's overreaction on Jonathan Kuminga's and his Hawks debut and whatnot. Steph Curry potentially missing the rest of the year. We'll talk about that too. And then in MLB, World Baseball Classic started its exhibition games today, March 3rd, and as well as player gets ejected. Full season for PEDs, so that's what we'll talk about. But to start us off, NFL Combine happens every year, right? Every year, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Obviously, it's for players to show off their athletic talent. But I don't know. I've always thought it to me. Maybe it's a safety issue or whatnot. But I see guys run the 40-yard dash. I'm like, that's great. That guy ran a 4.3. But how fast is he running when he's got the helmet, the pads, and the pants on? That's what I want to see. I want to see how fast he's gonna be running on the field because in football you have all the pads and gear on that are obviously gonna slow you down. So I want to see how athletic these guys are, how they're moving, even with the quarterbacks. I know it's not easy throwing with those shoulder pads on. So I want to see how these guys are throwing with all the gear on. And because that's what you're going to get on the field unless you're in the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl is the only time guys in the NFL don't have their gear on. And so that's just one thing I'm always just like, why don't they, like I said, could be a safety issue. Could be they just want to see these guys freak natural talents. But then sometimes you see a guy and you overshoot on him because he looks more athletic or he looks better without pads than he does with the pads. I mean, for example, John Ross, when he
Yeah,
ran the 4.22,
right.
looked great. Combine. Oh my goodness, this guy's fast. Comes to the league, he is not that great. Not that great. Because you got to think about it. Helmet affects the your vision. The pads restrain your shoulders, and
Division,
then
yeah.
obviously you got your leg pants. I mean, there's just added weight. But it's like I don't know. I feel like you should see what you're gonna get out on the field. And I know the teams have tape and whatnot, but I don't know.
Yeah, I guess they want to see how you do without in shorts, I guess, because they want to make it how high can you jump and hit those little the high jump those little I don't know what they're called where you see how
Your
high
vertical, standing
how
vertical,
the
yeah.
vertical stand um yeah, it is interesting. I mean, it could be a like you said a liability like a insurance type thing because a lot of these guys definitely don't want to get hurt. Some guys won't even go to this camp because
Yeah.
um, they don't want to ruin already what they've done on the college field and mess up in the kingdom. But for others, maybe it gives them who weren't going to be drafted all of a sudden now, hey, that guy he ran pretty fast, or he was catching everything that was thrown at him. So maybe that's the opportunity there to find some guys there that are not the big names in the college game and in the combine. I mean, he ran what did he ran a five something, um, and next thing you know, he gets what was he fifth round, sixth round, something like that. I can't remember, but he still was given the opportunity, and we wrote the books from there.
But yeah, I mean, it is cool, right? It is cool to see these guys run, 4.2, 4.3s. I mean, to see how fast they are. But it's like I want to see how fast they are with the pads. And like I said earlier, everything that affects you, right? Your pads, your shoulder pads, your helmet. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I like you said, it's just like you said, it's just something that these guys can show off their athleticism and all. I think that's great and all, but I don't know. I want to see what I'm really gonna get. But that's
It's a
just my opinion.
preliminary.
That's
Yeah,
just
it's
my
just the
opinion.
start, right?
Yeah.
They got to do
But
a lot.
yeah,
See, this is what they got. They got to do a lot of research. Not only they got to mix the combine in, they got to go through and that's the other things too, right? They're nonstop giving interviews, like all the teams who are interested. They'll interview them, see what kind of just see how they carry themselves, how they maybe how they talk, their background checks, medical tests. I think they also take like an education test too. I forgot what, like
Yeah,
maybe
they
like an
yes. I forget what that's called, but
SAT
yeah, they
type thing. So
yeah, they take some type of test, some educational test. It's a pretty
yeah, they do the drills in their shorts and a tight shirt, but then they also have a lot more to it. Which, but yeah, it does make sense. Like, hey, he's not going to be running that 40 in shorts. Get him some pads. I
yeah.
get
No,
it.
it's called the Wonderlic Contemporary
Wonderly, okay.
Cognitive Ability Test. That's the test everyone takes, and then they see the scores based
I
off that.
remember. Do you remember the guy out of Texas? He didn't score good on the Wonderlic test. I'm drawing a
Hmm.
blank on his name, but he
CJ
just he
Stroud, was
beat.
it not?
No, this is even before that, man. I'm going back to when USC, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, Vince Young, I believe his name was.
Vince Young.
Yeah, he went to Texas, and he was, I didn't believe. I'm pretty sure he went in the first round, but he did not do well in that Wonder League. And it was a debate. It's like he didn't do good on that test, but he's beating everybody at the college football level. Like he could absolutely, quarterback a team and be a leader there. So there was a big debate at that time. Let me make sure I got the guy's name right.
Yeah, no, and I think that happened recently too. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't. It might have not have been CJ Stroud. It might have been Justin Fields, who they didn't get like a good score on that test, and everyone was making a big deal out of it and whatnot. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
it's whatever.
yeah, yeah. It was Vince Young. Um, he was a first round pick, third overall, but that was the big thing coming into the combine. Like he didn't do well on some stuff, and um, yeah, it looks like yeah he's played. He looked like he played on several teams, since being drafted. Just never, the expectations if you're drafted that high is to, in his position would be the Super Bowl, so that never happened. Um, but yeah, no, good. One of the most feared college players. He took USC all by himself.
Yeah, and more QBs that got low Wonderlic scores. Obviously, Vince Young was lowest at 6. And Terrell Pryor obviously wasn't didn't turn out too great. Tua Tagovailoa, he was down there.
Uh-oh.
Lamar Jackson
It's
was
show
down
it's
there.
showing. No,
Dan Marino was down there. Deshaun
Dan
Watson, and finally Cam
Marino.
Newton.
What?
So I don't know. I don't
Cam
know if
Newton pretty
you. I
good.
mean,
Dan
there's
Marino
there's
Hall of
there's
Famer.
some MVPs on there that
Yeah.
got some lower Wonderlic's test scores. So who knows? Who knows? But that is all we got for the combine. Just wanted to give you our thoughts on that. But in the NFL, well, I guess that still is in the NFL. Big news: Cardinals inform quarterback Kyler Murray that they will release him for the start of the new year. Now, big news for the Cardinals. That means they're gonna, new head coach, new quarterback.
Yeah.
Good thing for Kyler Murray. He's still under contract with the A's if he ever wanted to go back and play baseball.
Come on, I thought that's what he should have done in the very beginning. He messed around with football. Okay, you messed around. You saw what it's like. I mean, did they? I mean, I don't have his what he's done, in the NFL, But hey, you also drafted by the A's, man. We could have used you.
Yeah, they still have his rights. So if you ever wanted to sign, if he still's got baseball in him, hey, the opportunity's there.
Let's do it.
Um,
Change it
as for the
up, man.
Cardinals, they'll be looking for a new quarterback after what they thought had found the franchise guy. Kyler obviously has not been that. He obviously took them to the playoffs in 2020 or 21, can't quite remember. Other than that, it's been out with injury or they just haven't been a good team. I mean, in a tough division too. It's just life has not been good for Kyler Murray.
And this is kind of like something you see all the time when a new coach comes on board anyways, is if they're if you want them to become the coach, let them hire their own quarterback. We see that a lot. Not surprised that Mike LaFleur wants to go a different route. They already gave, like you said, I don't know how many years it is, but they given Kyler Murray kind of the keys to Arizona Cardinals. It just didn't work out as planned, and they move on, and we'll see who they pick up.
Yeah, other news on someone who might be on a new team. Kenneth Walker. The Seahawks did not use their franchise tag on Kenneth Walker. Today was the deadline to tag players. And the Super Bowl 60 MVP could be could be looking to go to a new team. I mean, Seattle obviously does have the opportunity to re-sign him, but I don't know. I mean, it's tough. When's the last time a Super Bowl MVP wasn't re-signed with the team? I mean, like I said, ever since Zach Charbonnet went out in the playoffs against the Niners, Kenneth Walker looked unbelievable when he
Yeah.
was the lead back. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he it just shows you, right? I mean, remember they had that whole thing where I think they just started like not signing these running backs. They let Saquon walk, right? He ends up, winning the Super Bowl next year. Guys like Josh Jacobs end up going to another team, being very successful. This could be another case of that. We don't. Kenneth Walker, as soon as like you named the other running back went down, he took control and he was the beast. I mean, he was runaway Super Bowl MVP in that game. It was all on him, just taking chunks and chunks of yardage, down the field, it's question's going to be, maybe he's a system running back, and uh, we'll get somebody else in there to do but that
Could also
system's
not work.
breaking
Yep.
down.
Yep.
The
They
coach
lost their
is
head coach.
gone.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's tough, right? Like you said, Saquon left. He won the Super Bowl. Josh Jacobs left. And, obviously he's been successful in Green Bay. However, Seattle did get the Super Bowl. They got the Super Bowl with Kenneth Walker. So, I mean, I guess losing him isn't the worst thing. But then again, he also showed that he could be one of the best running backs in the league in those final 3 games. So, I don't know. It's tough. But I think I see him. I see him in a new uniform. I see him in a team where he's going to be the lead back.
yeah,
Which team could that be? That's a good question. A lot of teams could use a running back of his caliber. I think every team would want a team or would want a running back of his caliber. Some teams that come to mind, I feel like the Bears could use a power running back like that. The Bears, the Cardinals. Uh, I've seen a lot of talk of should the Raiders sign him and have a 1-2 punch with him and Ashton Jeanty. Now, I don't think that's a good idea because I don't want to split reps with either one because I think one should just be the powerhouse because that's how good of running backs they are. So he just needs to find a team where he will be the main guy and not splitting his reps.
yeah, and that's tough. Like in the NFL, we've seen that dual running, that 1-2 punch. A lot of teams have had where they become successful, and like Seahawks all year had that 1-2 punch, got them all the way to the game. Unfortunately, one of them got hurt, but the other one picked up the slack. Wouldn't be a completely bad thing to have a 1-2 punch in Vegas, but we've talked about it before. They have a lot of other problems to address. Aside from the running back position, I think Gente already showed he can carry the load, right? with a horrible line, staying healthy all year and putting up what did he without over 1,000 yards.
1,000 yards. He had over
Um,
1,100 total yards, 10
so
touchdowns.
yeah, we're kind of looking forward to seeing what he could do with an average line, somewhat decent line, and getting the same amount of carries, and who knows? I mean, that could be a 1,500-yard back we're waiting for.
Yeah, speaking of 1-2 punches, the most iconic 1-2 punch running backs, they broke up. Sonic and Knuckles, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, is Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery. They are no longer
Oh no!
both on the Lions. David Montgomery was
Whoa!
traded the other day to the Texans for a fourth round pick. Um, or right here, he was traded to the Texans in exchange for offensive line Juice Scruggs and multiple draft picks. Now, it's tough because they were a great 1-2 punch, right? Jameer Gibbs, the speedster, could do everything. David Montgomery was the power back. He would just get you right at the
Yeah.
goal line. But, this past season, they didn't really look like the 1-2 punch that they did in the previous 2 seasons. So, obviously, things happened. Texans were in need of a running back, right? Obviously, they had Woody Marks. He was performing decently at the end of the year, but they were waiting on Joe Mixon all year. He never came back. So now David Montgomery has a shot to be the starting running back for the Texans, and Jameer Gibbs is going to either have to find another buddy or he's going to have to carry the load all on his own.
That's interesting. Like I haven't heard of that they broke up. I'm like, oh man, that's the example I was talking about is them. They were just pretty exciting to watch. Both of those guys just beating up defenses, for the last few years. And But yeah, I'm sure. these guys just relish the opportunity to be the sole back by themselves, and like you said, it looks like Texans are in need of um, a running back. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's pretty good for Montgomery, and I'd say yeah for Jamar Gibbs. Hey, you're gonna miss him.
Yeah, you will.
Take a
Yeah.
little slack off you, you know. But
Hmm.
no, yeah, they're both good backs.
Yeah, no, they are. More news in the NFC North. Right, yes. Bears Pro Bowl center Drew Dahlman. He's expected to retire after 5 seasons in the NFL. It's come unexpected, but the Bears are looks like they're going to be losing their Pro Bowl center, and that's huge, right? You know, guys only been in league 5 years. Pro Bowler center. Center's obviously a very important position. He's young. He's proved he could be the guy. But they're gonna lose him now. We don't know the specifics on why he's retiring. You know, there's a lot of things that go on in athletes' lives that we do not know about. But he's looks like he's gonna retire. Caleb Williams is gonna have a new guy. I was gonna say under center. He's gonna have a new guy at center, and so it's just interesting. I mean, good. I guess the good news would be a lot of centers are available in free agency. Guys like Tyler Linderbaum. Um, I'm blanking. There's uh two guys that are gonna get released at the start of the new year. Their names are blanking on me, but there is decent market, obviously the draft as well. So I guess for the Bears, obviously who weren't expecting to spend or a draft pick or free agency money on a center, looks like they're gonna need a new center. So that's just it's one of those wait and see what they do with that. But that's tough news for Drew Dahlman because obviously you don't want to see young guys retire.
Yeah, and it doesn't give a reason, huh? It
Doesn't know.
just says he's yeah. I mean, yeah, a young guy like that, like you said, a Pro Bowler, that is a hit to the franchise there, and now scrambling. I'm sure they have backups, but when you lose a Pro Bowler, it's probably no brainer that that's going to hurt, and yeah, probably something they weren't expecting to have to shell out some money for that position. So yeah, we'll have to see how the Bears react.
More news, we talked about Daniel Jones, and Colts are applying the transition tag,
Hmm.
which will allow them to match any contract that he is offered. And so obviously he's coming off the Achilles tear. I lied. I think I did lie. I think I'm getting this wrong. I guess so. It says Jones Jones will receive a fully guaranteed $37.8 million contract in the upcoming season. It says the transition tag guarantees the Colts the right of first refusal to match any offer Jones could receive from any other team. But should he sign elsewhere, the Colts are not compensated as they would be with an exclusive or non-exclusive tag. So they have the shot to keep him if another team offers him a contract, but he still has the opportunity to still leave. But I don't know. Coming off an Achilles tear,
Yeah.
I don't see him going anywhere.
I heard you say if, and that's not happening. Yeah, he's. I don't think he gets another offer. I mean, especially coming off of that. I mean, I know he put together a pretty nice season until he went down, and the Colts. They had a lot of success with him behind the center, and but I just yeah, who knows? I mean, it could be someone throwing an offer contract out there for him, but looks like the Colts have a chance to make that right or to retain his experience. So I would just another one we'll wait and see. But like I said, I think he's staying with the Colts, and then they'll
Yeah.
try to put see if they could just build off of that season they had last year.
Yeah, most definitely. Teams want a quarterback that are going to start the year. I don't know if he's going to start the year. He might. I think he has a good shot actually to start the year under center, but we'll see. Coming back from the Achilles injury. Now, last offseason, this next guy we're about to talk about, he was a big name in the drama. And that's Trey Hendrickson. The four-time Pro Bowler was not franchise tagged by the Bengals. He is set to become a free agent. Now, that is huge. This guy is a beast. Obviously, a little bit of a down year this past year. Obviously, probably was not happy with in Cincinnati, especially not getting the long contract that he wanted. But he is a free agent. A lot of teams will probably be on him. The Bears, I suspect, if they don't trade for Max Crosby, will probably be in on Trey Hendrickson. Maybe that changes their thoughts. Maybe they'll be like, hey, instead of trading for a guy, we could just sign Trey Hendrickson. I believe he's only 30 or 31 years old. Still a little bit, I mean, not old, but not young as well, but still could produce numbers that none of their edge rushers currently have. So honestly, I think that's the team who I got. They're gonna pick him up. I think the Bears are gonna shift from trying to trade for Max Crosby and sign Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, he was. I think he was a talk late last year too of some trades when the trade deadline was going down.
Yep.
You know, with Micah Parsons and all that stuff. But now that was happening, he was brought up as well. Ended up sticking with the Bengals and finishing the year off. And but it looks like now they're separating. Um, uh, going their own way now. It just almost but done. But yeah, he's still, guys like him, they're going to be able to just wherever they go, just contribute um, to the team. And yeah, health is everything, right? He can stay. He's a little bit on the older side. As long as he remains healthy, then yeah, I mean, I think he could really add to a team's depth chart or not starting actually, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, I'll definitely will be a starter. More news. Jets placed franchise tag on running back Brees Hall. He's staying in New York. Don't know how he'll personally feel about that. I know he had some mixed emotions, wanting to get traded last season at the deadline. Didn't end up getting moved. More news. Khalil Mack, he intends to play in 2026. He will be a free agent though, and it will be a priority for the Chargers. However, I would love for my Raiders to try and go get that guy. Although he's on the older side in his 13th season, he still got it. He still has it. And pairing him with Max Crosby, that would be a deadly duo. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I would too. Just right that wrong that you guys had that by getting rid of him, bring him back. I mean, they seem to always they brought Charles Woodson back. Um, yeah, there's some other guys they end up bringing back. Once they go to another team, and I think having Khalil on the other side. I mean, he's just been a beast in every team he's been to. So yeah, another guy I think he'll contribute to another team for sure, and hopefully it's the Raiders.
More news: Commanders releasing cornerback Marshawn Lattimore after just 11 games with the team. Obviously, they acquired him um, via trade last season. More news: the Jerry Jones offered, or the Cowboys offered Brandon Aubrey uh, a deal that would make him the highest paid kicker in history, and he declined it. But it says they still have a good
He
offer on the
declined it.
table for the. It says they still have a good offer on the table for the star kicker. So we'll see. I don't see him going anywhere, especially because I don't think other teams are gonna want to pay a lot of money for a kicker. But that's just something Jerry Jones would do.
You mean a kicker denied a contract? Like he
I
turned it down?
I guess
Wow,
so.
this
Yeah.
guy, the ego on this guy, huh?
I mean, hey, when you get hit consistently 60 yards, I mean, I
That's
shoot.
true.
I would know my worth.
So yeah, yeah, he knows where he stands. He's like, no, you guys find somebody else to kick 60 yarders. I dare you.
Yeah, yeah. More trade news. Browns agree to acquire Titus Howard from the Texans in trade, and he's going to sign and they're going to sign the offensive tackle to a 3 year, $63 million extension. The in exchange for a fifth round pick. Wow, geez, fifth round pick for a guy that's going to get 3 years, 63 million. I don't know what the Texans are doing, but okay. Chiefs to release offensive tackle Jawan Taylor, clearing 20 million in cap ahead of the new year. Jawan Taylor, right tackle, was known for getting a lot of false starts. We'll see if he'll probably go to a new team and be a starter, but we'll see if he'll fix up the the false starts because that was something that it's funny seeing those every year. I'd always see a clip, especially when he first joined the Chiefs. It was always a clip of him jumping off sides and always getting called for it. So that's funny. But the final news that we got today, the bigger news. No, well, there's some other small news. Smaller news. Commanders released former Pro Bowl center Tyler Biadasz. That's an option for the Raiders. That's another option for the Bears. But the one thing I really want to talk about is I don't know if I talked. I don't. We didn't talk about this last week. Cowboys have placed the franchise tag on George Pickens. Big news. Keep the receiver in Dallas. Keep that offense. I mean, because back in, well, let's say call it 2019, you had Dak. This is before, okay, no, 2020. Dak, CD, 2021. When was CD drafted? Oh my goodness, my mind is blank. Anyways, you had an offense of Dak, CD, Michael Gallup, Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
Well, it might be, yeah, and then Zeke Elliott, right? You had a power offense. Yeah, it was 2021. And then you lost that a couple of years. Now you have it back, right? Dak, CD, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, and Javonte Williams. So you have that offense. You just got to find the defense. Dallas was the best offense last year. Downside, they had the worst defense last year. So now if they could find an okay defense, it reminded me of the 2016 Raiders. You have a power offense and you have this crappy defense. So now if the Raiders, I mean not the Raiders, if the Cowboys could find this somewhat of a defense, they could be a good team next year.
Yeah, we talked about it all last season, and even the last episode, we were waiting for this to happen, right? They just signed Williams to
Yep.
a few years, I think it was. I can't
Yeah,
remember the
3 year
details,
deal.
but
Hmm.
a 3-year deal, and then they franchise Pickens, and they try and keep that core together. That was one of the highest scoring offenses last season, and just looking to build on that. And like you said, we'll see what Jerry Jones does on the defensive side of the ball, and to get them back and competing, for championship again.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, they got to build that defense, but the offense is there. But that is all we have for the NFL. Moving on to the NBA, we'll give you our weekly standings update. In the East, Pistons have still led and they'll most likely lead it all the way. They're 45 and 15. Geez, these guys are just amazing. 8 and 2 in the last 10. They have been great. Second place is the Celtics. They have also been great. They made some
Yeah.
acquisitions. Acquisitions. Not accusations. Oh my goodness. They just made some moves at the deadline. My brain is just off
you
today.
need you need some sleep. Too much
I
schoolwork, man.
maybe they made some moves at the deadline.
Yeah.
They are second place, 41-20. They just have been unbelievable. Jason Tatum still striving to make the comeback this year, who most likely honestly will. He's been getting a lot of on-court play. It's just a matter of when will he come back. But they're the second seed. They're looking great. Honestly, I don't think they fall below that either. Especially because when your third seed's the Knicks and they're only 30, 39 and 22, it's just like, come on, come on, come on, New York. Can't even blame your head coach this time. You got a different head coach.
Yeah.
It's just the players. But tied with them is the new look Cavaliers with James Harden. He did deal with a little bit of injury, but he's out there playing. They are both no, Cavs are 39-24. They have two more losses than the Knicks, but they are the fourth seed. And then the fifth seed is 35 and 25 Raptors. They've been a sneaky team, not much noise around them. And the 76ers, they're 33 and 27. They are the sixth seed. And then into the play-in, you have the Magic, Heat, Hornets, and Hawks. And speaking of the Hawks, all these teams, everyone's talking about Jonathan Kuminga. Oh my goodness, he looks so good. He looks so happy. Not in Golden State. Yeah, he's happy. And they're undefeated with him. But they played the Wizards back to back and then Portland. Three crappy teams. Or no, two crappy teams that they played 3 games in a row. I mean, yeah, we knew Jonathan Kuminga was a good player. He just
Yeah.
didn't want to adapt in Golden State. Now, obviously, yes, Curry could have done better with handling the situation. However, he didn't want to be the second guy to Steph Curry. And in a
Yeah.
world where Steph Curry's on your team, you better be the second to third or the fourth best guy on the team. But he didn't want to be that. He didn't want to be the Aaron Gordon that we just asked him to be. And Aaron Gordon's a great player for the Nuggets. And he wanted to be the star player, so the Warriors said, all right, we'll ship you off to Atlanta. And obviously, yeah, he's been great, but too much
Yeah,
noise.
good good
Too
for
much noise about
good
him.
for him, right? Good for him. Curry said it best. Just go be great. And he's been playing some great basketball for the Hawks. He's got everybody giving him the standing ovation and saying chanting "Thank you, Warriors." I don't know if you saw that. Like everybody in Atlanta, where he was shooting free throws and they were chanting "Thank you, Warriors." Yeah, I mean we saw those flashes. That's why we didn't trade him all those years. We were waiting for him to progress a little bit more than just those windmill dunks. Just find it hard to believe that Steve Kerr, who's getting the most of this backlash, that all of a sudden he's got like 9 rings and he just forgot what he was doing and he gave away the next best thing,
Yeah,
next best
I don't
player.
know.
I mean, listen. I mean, he's a good player. We already knew that. I mean, we had high hopes for him, and you know, now best of wishes, best of luck to him. He's on a team with the Atlanta Falcons. He's arguably already the best player, I would say. I mean, they got C.J. McCollum. They got a lot of young guys. Jalen Johnson. Defensively they have Dyson Daniels. They're not bad.
No, they're young. They're
They
young.
keep keep it up. They won four in a row. If they keep that up and move up in the play-in and maybe knock a team off or two and then lose in the second round. So I also heard the debate that Steve Kerr can't develop young talent, and maybe I mean you can look at it however you want, right? I mean I know he's drafted
Yeah.
Patrick Baldwin Jr., Ryan Rawlings, what I mean, Lester Quinones, Kuminga's another one, but yeah, sure, he's always went with the veteran guys, the David West, the Jamel McGee's, you know what I
Sean
mean, the
Livingston's.
most Spates, the Sean Livingston's, the Andre Iguodala's. Yeah, that's just what got him, one of the most wins in NBA history and four rings, in a decade of excellence. So, I'm going to side with Kerr on that. I know Kuminga's happy and he's smiling like crazy, but he wasn't doing that with the Warriors. His body language, watching the games, head down, after making mistakes, and just didn't look like he was happy here as well. I mean, he was getting a lot of DMs, and so yeah, no, it's an exciting time for him in the Atlanta Hawks, but Warriors got to move on.
Yeah, but no, but like you said, we knew Kuminga was a good player, right? Everyone knew, we all knew Kuminga was a good player, but he wanted to be the star player when we needed him to be the role player. Kind of what Guy Santos has been for the Warriors in the past, like 2 weeks. He's been a 17 point per game guy. That's what we needed from Kuminga, and that's what we got the first two games of the season with Steph and Jimmy out there on the floor. Kuminga, I think he did start. He started, but he was like the role player. Became the role player that we needed him to, and he was averaging probably about like 17 points per game. And then it just kind of just fell off from there. And so it's not like we wanted him to be the superstar after Steph Curry left. But while Steph was here, we all knew Steph was the main guy. But Kuminga just didn't want to, well, just didn't want that, and that's why things didn't work out. And now, yeah, like I said, he's happy in Atlanta. So we'll see how
Yeah,
that is.
good for him. I mean, he had the chance when Curry went down in that playoffs against the Timberwolves. Yeah, Kuminga was great. One man show. He was averaging over 20 points a game. We went home. You know what I mean? We ended up losing the series.
Yeah,
And of course, and what are we saying? Things would have been different if Curry was in there. Not like, oh shoot, we need to play Kuminga more. No, we did play Kuminga more. He got great numbers, but we went home. We lost. So, anyways, yeah, it's just seeing everything and what people are saying. It's just pretty comical that they everybody gets traded. Will Chamberlain was traded, okay? Shaq
yeah,
was traded, all right?
yeah,
Luka
yeah.
Doncic was just traded, okay? So Kuminga, yeah, I mean, we're acting like we just let you go of like one of the up and
Like we
best
had traded an all-star.
yeah, young talents of all time or something. I mean, I get real.
Yeah,
I mean, for a Warrior fan, for me, if he goes out and gets 4 rings and 10 All Stars, I'm gonna say, oh man, we messed up there. So we have a ways to go before we can say, Kerr had that's a bad decision, right? So,
yeah,
anyways,
yeah. That's true. But over in the West, so we have the Thunder. They're leading the way. They're 47-15. They already clinched their conference. Um, they've been great. Followed by the Spurs, who are 43-17. Rockets are 38-22. Timberwolves are 30-23. And the Nuggets are 30-24. Those three spots are will probably be mixed around towards the end of the year. Sixth seed is the Lakers at 36-24. Suns are 34-26. They are without Dylan Brooks. And then the Warriors fill out the eighth seed at 30 and 31 and 30. Jeez. And then the Clippers 29 and 31, and the Trailblazers final spot in the play-in 29 and 33. And honestly, that will probably be the play-in. Those four teams, Suns, Warriors, Clippers, Trailblazers, will most likely be the play-in. We'll see how that goes. But man, the Warriors, life is gonna suck
I, I
without
mean, I
Steph
mean, I
Curry.
mean, but yeah, when Steph Curry, and we've been, I mean, I don't know, I think we've said this on this show before. When Curry is gone, we're going to miss him when he's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, we're watching what is going to be on the court when he is gone. You're going to see Guy Santos, Pat Spencer, right? Uh, I'm drawing blank on some of the other Santa Cruz Warrior guys who are now elevated to, you know, two-way contracts or some got signed. It's going to be tough. I mean, you know, I think the idea was in injuries didn't help, right? Jimmy Butler was out. I think what they if you start looking at it, Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, Porzingis for whatever's going on with him,
Porzingis is
Draymond
dealing
Green.
with mystery. Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
brutal.
you name those four guys.
If the MVP was truly the most valuable player, Steph
Uh,
Curry would win it every year. Every year. You could see whenever he misses a game,
yeah,
it's a totally different team.
I
Totally
mean,
different team. And I
you
mean
see,
that's it's what you expect, right? Probably one of the greatest of all time, the greatest
yeah.
point guard of all time, out there on the
You
court.
could see when Draymond starts taking 12 to 14 shots, and he's the last there. The ball's been passed around, and no one's has an open shot, and Draymond takes it, then that's a problem.
But that, and then when you watch Draymond without Curry, he's doing more
Yeah,
harm to the team than good. When he's out there with Curry, he actually, because him and Curry run that 1-2 game, he looks great, and then defensively, he's like great. But
yeah,
without Curry, man, he's just honestly, he's just not even like
yeah.
a role player. But yeah, no, yeah, life's brutal. I mean, last night they were up 17 on the Clippers, lost offensive power, ended up losing by 13. I mean, it's brutal. Like you said, life without Steph Curry is gonna be tough for Warrior fans.
Quentin Post, that's another guy. Quentin Post, Pajetsky. I mean, they're good players. Don't get me wrong. It's just like if you're trying to compete for a championship, though, I don't know at this time right now. Those are those guys are not going to get it done right now.
Yeah, no. But coming out of that Warriors game last night was one thing only. We're talking about some G League guys coming from the Warriors. Nate Williams is one of those G League guys. He played 22 minutes last night. He had 18 points. And yeah, they lost. But I want to talk about what he said after the game. They asked him how it was defending Kawhi Leonard. And he says, I don't fear no man. And he's like, Kawhi is just like me. He bleeds just like me. And a lot of people calling it corny
Yeah,
and whatnot. And you can say what you want, but I mean, that's the mentality
right.
you got to have, right? Just because he's obviously a Hall of Famer, right? Doesn't mean you should be
Yeah,
have fear and guarding him. I mean, he's just like everyone else. He's an NBA player. And so I like the mentality that he came out with. A lot of
you,
people didn't like what he said. They thought he was a goofball, a cornball. But, young guy trying to make his way into this league, had a pretty good game. Yeah, they lost, but having to guard Kawhi, I mean, he's just like you said, he's like, I don't fear from no challenge. And like, I think that's just
you
the right
know,
mentality to have.
a lot of these guys in the NBA. I mean, we probably already know it, but they all think like they were all the guy on one of their previous teams. And they all have that mentality that like Pajetsky, right? He already wanted the keys to the Golden State Warriors, saying he'll take over after Curry. And they said the same thing. Wow, that's pretty big work. But that's just the mentality of a lot of these NBA players is they had a fight to get where they're at as it is. And to keep that, they have to have that positive mentality, that dog kind of yeah. You can call it corny. Only you're calling it corny because right now he's nobody. He's like what 12th man or whatever. But um, you just these guys are just going to work through it and be as confident as can be. So yeah, no, I like it too. I mean, yeah, it's a Hall of Famer, Freddie. You have if nothing else happens, you have a story to tell your kids when you get older. I
Yeah.
guarded Kawhi Leonard and I didn't back down. I went at him with everything I had.
Yeah, no. So I just saw that last night and earlier today. I was like, I gotta talk about it. But
Yeah,
that is all.
that's fair.
That is all for the NBA. Into the MLB. World Baseball Classic. The exhibition games have started. Team USA played against the Giants today. They whooped them. Obviously, other teams, the Tigers played the Dominican Republic. So the teams are getting out there. They're playing, and so they're just waiting for the actual tournament to start. There's that, and then other news. MLB suspends Braves outfielder Jurickson Profile for 162 games, a full season for PEDs. And that's big because he was suspended 80 games last season for PEDs as well. Says the Braves will not owe him his 15 million salary this year, so I mean I guess they save money there, but That's just brutal. I mean, he was phenomenal for the Padres in 24. Now it makes people think, oh, was he on PEDs in 24 because of how good of a year he had? I don't know, but yeah, he's up there appealing it, right? The I guess what is it? The union of the players, they're appealing his suspension, but he was planning to play for Team Netherlands in the World Baseball Classic this week. However, that won't happen either. And he had signed a 3-year, $42 million deal with the Braves in 2025, but it's not looking good thus far, and it's probably won't look good after the fact either. So that's that for Jerk's profile and for baseball. Like I said, we're still waiting for the season to start. End of the month, we're in March. End of March, season will start. We'll talk about baseball. The only thing, I mean, I guess the only other thing we could talk about is 2 week school bowl. He's pitching 55 pitches against Great Britain, and that's all they wrote for him for Team USA. But we'll see. We'll see how we'll keep you updated when that tournament starts, and we'll see how things go. But that is all for today. Thank you all for tuning in. I'd like to thank my co-host, my uncle, for joining me today. Don't forget, we get episodes out on YouTube and Spotify every Wednesday, sometime between 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock. Try to get them out as fast as I can. But we get episodes out every Wednesday. I get posts out on TikTok and Instagram, so don't forget to follow those. One last time, thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, stay ready.